Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Vision Pros Live. I'm your host and coach, Fletcher Ellings. And today on the show, we're talking with Danielle Hutchinson. She's the Chief Creative Officer at Authors on Mission. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited.
Yeah, right on. Before we dive into exactly what it is you do and how and who you help, I like to start off with something that's going well. What's a win or something professionally or personally? And the reason we do this is there's a lot of uncertainty in the world. There's a lot of suffering going on. And we want to remind people that there's still good in the world and that we can be the cause of that good in our life. So, Danielle, what's something that's going well in your life?
Well, something that's going well in my life is that I've been a ghostwriter and editor for a couple of years now. I've written hundreds of books for other people, and one win is that I am finally almost done writing my own book, which is, just a really funny kind of like a joke I always say is I always write for other people and for myself. And this summer, finally put the time in, scheduled it in, and I'm very happy to say it's in the works. So it's
All
very
right.
exciting. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Can you give us a preview of what it's called or what it's about?
Yeah, so it's about humanizing your manuscript, which these days AI is huge. Everybody's using Claude or ChatGPT to pump out manuscripts, but it's kind of garbage because it's a robot writing it. It doesn't relate to anybody. So I'm writing about some tips and techniques that I use to help my clients bring life into their manuscripts. So it was really fun to write about. I moved in some personal stories. So I'm looking forward to kind of taking it from the draft stage to pushing it out into the world soon. Very exciting for it.
All right. All right. When do you anticipate having it completed?
It's still in the works. It's still in the works. But in the meantime, I am still, here at Authors on Mission, continuing to help other people bring their own manuscripts to life too. So it's a busy schedule. So to answer your question, not quite sure, but it is coming soon.
All right. Well, best wishes with it. All right. So the show we're on here is called Vision Pros, and we're all about hearing about people's visions. To me, that's an interesting and oftentimes inspiring topic. There's a lot of conversation with people in our lives during the day, but it's usually or frequently about stuff that's not inspiring, not stuff that we're not passionate about, right? It's about just kind of navigating the day to day. So I love that we get to talk with people about what their vision is. So I'm curious, what's your vision?
Yeah, so before I answer what my vision is, I guess I should sort of back up a little bit to give you a little bit of background information about myself. I work as a teacher as well, in addition to being the Chief Creative Officer here at Authors on Mission and also ghostwriting and editing for people. So it's a very busy schedule, one that I love doing. But my vision would be then to just solely focus myself on the publishing side of things and the writing side of things. And I think it's so important because these days everybody really does have a story to tell, no matter where you come from, what your industry is. And I think it's important that we give people those opportunities to get their books out there. So, my vision, therefore, would be to be able to expand my reach to help other people to, get those dreams across. And, of course, technology, as I mentioned before, is going to be playing a huge role in it, but using, AI to embrace that dream and to help others reach that, I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, right on. Yeah. So what I heard you say in that is that your vision is to help, as many people as you can to get their story out there in front of others. Because lots of us do have a book inside of us. We do have a story that we want to bring to a wider audience. And with all the technology that we have today, it's really more accessible than it's ever been. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, anybody could just, throw something out there, just get it out using that, the AI generated tools. But I do have to say, I think it's a matter of balancing that, using it as a tool rather than just, solely using the computer, which is why you kind of need assistance sometimes. And as I mentioned before, I help them humanize it and, bring their stories to life that way. But it does make it more accessible. But I guess my vision would be to just expand what I'm able to do to help those stories become even better, to relate to more audiences, to get the message across even stronger too.
Yeah, right on. So as people are listening to this, and because you and I both have just said, like, everyone's got a story to tell, and some people would probably agree, like, God, I'd love to tell my story, or I'd love to write that story. but I'm going to play devil's advocate. So a lot of them are thinking like, but get real, Danielle. I'm also a teacher and I don't have time, or I'm also have a full family. I don't have time, or I've never written one. I haven't taken any classes on writing one. So would I love to have a book? You bet. But it doesn't really seem very realistic or like it's in the cards for me. Talk to that person who is thinking along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what building a team and building systems really comes into play, because if you think you don't have the time, if you don't have the, quote unquote writing talent, which I always say you always do have something in there, that's what building a team is. You hire somebody to help you get proper outline in place, one that targets the right audience and builds and structures your book in a way that you can pull content from it later on to market it down the road, that sort of thing. You also can hire a ghostwriter here at Also Plumbers. We call ourselves the angel writers. So we help you, work with you chapter by chapter to get that vision out there. And we take the burden off your shoulders, even if you're busy, and just, all you have to do is build a friendship with your ghostwriter, then get to know you, and then based on that, they can really take your authentic voice and put it onto the paper. So regardless of what your situation is, if you're thinking, this isn't for me, why not? There's so many benefits just getting that book out there, whether it be just for your legacy, something to hand your children down the road, or, most commonly these days are, using it as a business card, a way to attract clients to your brand. So many different reasons. So
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like you said, there's lots of reasons to write one. Like my uncle and aunt wrote one. Kind of was just a memoir of their lives. They each wrote one, and that type of book was really cool because it allowed me to get to know them on a very different level than just, I grew up having them around all the time, but my version of them was from that of a little boy, right? From a, and a teenager. But when I got to read their story from while I was an adult, and I had a completely different appreciation for them, right? So because they were sharing vulnerability, it was a conversation that we probably never had growing up. So there's that, and then there's the books that business people want to write, who then want to use that as, like you said, as their business card. Because if you're at a seminar and you're networking and someone gives you their business card and another person gives you their book, right? Which one is going to carry more weight, right?
Exactly. And, when you open that book then too, within the pages, it not only shows your values, but also how you built the business, the challenges you faced, and it gets the client an opportunity to know you better. It's a way for them to really bond with what you have going on here and get on board with your vision for your own company. So there's just some of the reasons why you might want to write a book. Others might be if maybe you don't have a company, but you want to expand your influence. You have some ideas to share. You're a thought leader. A good way to do that is by writing a book, and then therefore using that as a launching pad for future speaking engagements, or just on your platforms, whatever it might be. That's just another example. The list goes on. So
yeah, and one of the beautiful things that it does is it really sets you apart and helps you build that authority and credibility. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Just having your name on that page, it's like a shining plaque of armor, right? It's a way to show that you know what you're doing and that you're an expert in the field. So it just gives you so many opportunities.
Yeah. So, for somebody who's never done this before, and they're listening to you and they're like, well, it definitely seems like, more accessible doing it this way, but how long would something like this take?
So it does depend. If you're really on board with it and you're directly involved, it can be done within a couple months. I've had it done honestly within a week myself. I remember there was this one time I had a client call me. I was at ShopRite. It was a Sunday, and he says, "I want a book written by next Sunday," and I'm like, "That's 7 days." But with the right time and the right effort put forth for it, you can make it happen. Most of the time, though, just took a couple months, because I do work with my clients. We have a weekly video call. We chat, bond, get to know each other. I write the chapter that week, and we discuss it the next week on the next video call. And it's a really collaborative process, but doing that way might take a little longer. And of course, the review stages when the client's looking over the materials, we're waiting for the turnaround time. So it's dependent on the level of involvement you're looking for. But if you're looking for something speedy, it's definitely doable too.
Yeah, and exactly. It depends on what your needs are. So if you're looking for like a quick, almost like an ebook type, but it's still a physical book, yeah, that's going to be less. I mean, right? If a 70-page book is going to be a lot easier than a 250-page book or whatever it is. So the time frame is, and it's going to be largely dependent on the client too. Is like how timely are they bringing forth the content to you, their ideas, getting back to you. But what I hear you saying is, yeah, you could have your book written in a few months and published, right?
Of course, and as long as you have a strong outline from the get-go, that also is a lot of time if you know what you want in each chapter and you really think it through and think about how each piece connects to the next piece of what you're writing. Oh, what I said is one of the most important parts is having a strong outline, because when you have that strong foundation, you know exactly what's going in each chapter in the correct order. Well, that just makes everything flow so much quicker moving forward, and it also removes any need for large revisions, which is another chunk of time. So there's more effort you put forth to creating that outline, the smoother it'll be moving forward.
Yeah, right on. And I also love that you highlighted the person's going to be working with a team. They're not doing this by themselves. You're hiring a team of experts to help you, and your company has helped so many people do this. This is not the first time. So you've got a process in place to help that's really efficient. And they're not just hiring one person, they're hiring a team of people that are going to help you bring your vision into the physical realm. If this is resonating with some people and they're like, God, you know what? Maybe I need to give her a call. Maybe I need to check this out. Tell us how we get in touch with you. Because I've been to your website and they got a whole bunch of videos and testimonials from real people just like you and me who have gone through this process, and they've got glowing testimonials on there. And what's cool about these testimonials is look them up. These aren't fabricated. Like, go and find the books on Amazon, right? Real testimonials, real people, real experiences. How do they get in touch with you and find out more?
Well, you just have to head to authorship.com, the website that you just mentioned. There's a button on the top where you can schedule a consultation, and we'll chat with you about what your needs are. Maybe you're looking for just some editing services because you already have a manuscript written, or you need to start from scratch. You need to find the right angel writer for you, or maybe you have the book out there and you just need some marketing help or assistance. We also offer assistance with TED Talks, podcasting. So whatever it might be, just chat with us. Let's figure out how we can help.
I love that. And I'm glad you said what you just did, because some people might already have the manuscript written, but they're just like, but editing it? I mean, because you can't really edit your own work.
No, you need a fresh set of eyes for sure.
Absolutely, right? Because you're not gonna catch all the mistakes, or you're too close to the project. So yeah, you may have it written, but you need another set of eyes. Or like you said, you may have it done already, but you're just like, how do I market this thing now? Because that's the next phase, is like getting a book written and published is a huge accomplishment. That's one game that you're going to play, the writing, publishing. And then there's this other game that once you have it, you're like, uh-oh, how do I now market this thing? How do I use it, right? And so you can help with that as well, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. And the marketing is a huge thing. So many people think once your book's out there on the shelves, that's it. You're done. But it's not. You can continuously breathe life into it. The best way is to get that marketing assistance. It's the only way to spread your message beyond just having it sit on that shelf at the bookstore.
That's right. Yeah. And I also want to let people know too, like, once you've done this, you can order copies of your own book at a significant discount. And then you can mail these out. You can take them to trade shows. You can take them to seminar or the workshop that you're delivering, they really become a powerful asset in your marketing of your own self and your own business. And I love that about self-publishing.
Absolutely. Yeah, you never know the opportunities you might rise, even if it's not an event, but just having a copy of your own book with you in your briefcase or your purse, and you never know who you're going to meet. Pass it along to somebody on the subway, right? Whatever it might be.
Absolutely.
Keep your eyes open.
Yeah, yeah. Danielle, great information. Thanks for sharing your vision. Thanks for sharing what's possible for people. Anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up?
Well, learn from my experience. Don't wait to write your book. I always focus my best efforts on my clients, getting their message out there. But if you have a vision for your own book, don't wait. Just start writing some ideas down, whatever it might be. Use the voice app on your phone. Get started. That's the only way your book is going to get on the shelves. A couple
Right
words per
on.
day.
Right on. Danielle Hutchinson, thank you very much. Danielle Hutchinson is the Chief Creative Officer at Authors on Mission. Go to authorsonmission.com to find out more and to begin the journey of writing your own book. Now it's time for you all to get out there, be a source of kindness, be a source of contribution. You do have something to offer this world, and I believe in you.
Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a Vision Pro yourself.